Hi everyone, meet the Holly halter top. It is a made-to-measure garment, great for summer, good to use with different kinds of yarn and hook sizes. Here's how it looks on. It's just a simple crop design with 2 ties and spikes. You'll need the measurement of your neck width, over the chest, and around the waist to get started. Next, you'll need your yarn. I've got acrylic here, 4-ply, worsted weight. You can use cotton. You can use just one color. The top is worked in one piece, but I've got 2 colors here. You're going to need a size H8 5mm crochet hook, scissors, a yarn needle, and optional, not required, is a stitch marker if that helps you out. So starting with the slip stitch, you should have taken the waist measurement needed, loosely work a chain that measures around 3 inches less than the waist measurement when the chain is stretched. Your number of chains needs to be divisible by 8. So here's my chain. I am making a size small, so I am going to be using 64. It's stretchy, so it needs to be, as I said, a few inches less. So add one more chain. So I started with 64 and now I have 65. Now we're going to be working into the back loops only for all chains in this project. So in the second chain from the hook, half double crochet, and half double crochet into each chain across. So I've half double crocheted all across. This is the back of your piece. When you're making your decreases, you want to work them into either both loops or just the loops that are closest to the front. So chain 1 and turn as with every row, and we're going to work the decreases into the loop closest to the front. And then we're just going to half double crochet across into both loops. When you come to the end of the row, you're going to want to make your decrease into the last 2 stitches on the row, and still working into those front loops because I am keeping the decreases to the front of my piece. Make that decrease, chain 1, and turn. Now we're working on the back of the piece again, so this time the decreases are going to go into those farther loops to keep it closest to the front. As you can see, the decreases there. So repeating row 2 all the way up the length of the top. This is row 3 and we just made a decrease, and I'm just going to keep on half double crocheting across until I get to the other side, make a decrease, chain 1, turn, and continue up the whole length of the top. If you want to change colors like how I'm doing, you will pick up the new color on the last pull through of a stitch. I wanted to make my color changes about 4 rows thick, but because I'm going to be working a bottom border, I made the first row of pink only 3 rows thick. But starting with this yellow, I'm going to make that 4 rows. And a little tip is to work an even number of rows of your color changes so that your tails will be all to one side. So as you can see, it's coming along nicely. My stitches are even. I've got my color changes, 4 rows of the color. These ends are all to one side, but they will be crocheted over top of, so don't worry about that. So the decreases are creating a slant, and I've got the length of my waist here at the bottom, and we're going to keep on working up over the chest to shoulder level. So I'm all done here. You're going to need an even number of rows, when you're at the top, and the top row should be no wider than the width of the neck. I did 24 rows. The next step is working the straps, and this is all worked in one piece, so don't fasten off. You're going to go up, down the slope, around the left, work the bottom border, out to the right, up the right slope, and working the final strap, and then you're going to slip stitch back to the beginning. So start out with a chain up here. 50 should be a good length. If you do choose to change the length, be sure that you keep the top two neck ties the same length and the waist ties the same length. So I've started with 50 and I'm going to chain one more to make 51. And then just like before, I'm going to work into the back loops, only this time I'm doing slip stitches. Not very tight, loose slip stitches to form the first necktie. Now, working down the left slope of your piece, you're going to be placing a half double crochet into the side of each row across. So here's what it looks like. I prefer to try to go into 2 pieces of yarn at one time. And just because it's a little bit easier to see here, because I have sections of 4, you will be able to see that I'm putting 4 half double crochet per color change, which means that I'm putting 1 in each row because I have 4 rows of pink here. Here's how it looks with 1 row of half double crochet down the side. Next, I'm going to be working one of the side straps. Now that I've got that done, just the same as before with 51 chains, I'm going to be working into the foundation chain now. Because you worked into the back loops before on this chain, it should be easy to find the stitches. You're going to be working in multiples of 8. So this pattern will be repeated across. Into the first stitch, you place a single crochet. And then you're going to skip 2 stitches and start working a double crochet into this stitch. You're going to work 4 total double crochets into the same stitch. And 4, and then you're going to chain 3 and picot. That just means to slip stitch back into the first of the 3 chains. Then you're going to work 4 more double crochets into the same loop as before. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then you're going to skip 2 more stitches there and a single crochet into the next one and finish it with 1 slip stitch. So here's how the bottom looks completed. It's really pretty. I'm switching to yellow here because I ran out of pink. And I'm just going to work over those color changes. But if you did one color, you won't have those color changes, so don't really worry about that if you don't need to. So I'm just going to work 1 more strap at the bottom and up the side like before. So starting with another chain of 51 for this second side strap. So I finished the side strap and I went up the right slope and made another neck strap, and then I half double crocheted across the top. Now I'm just going to slip stitch back into the very first stitch we made for the strap, and then go ahead and cut it and finish off. And if you didn't change your colors, you should only have this end and the first end to weave in. So this is a really quick top. It took 2 hours tops for this size. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed.